Welcome back to another episode on the MOD Balls page. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Toronto, Canada basketball Raptors. Now, why did I call them the Toronto Basketball Canada Raptors? I have no idea, but one thing I do have an idea about them is letting go of OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam last season. I know that was super tough for Masai Ujiri because those were like the final two pieces that were starting players on that championship team. Yeah. Or unless OG didn't start. But either way, those were like the final two pieces from that championship team for real, besides Chris Boucher and maybe Jakob Puerto. But, new era for the Toronto Raptors. And it's going to be built around Scotty Barnes, the Scotty Barnes era for Toronto. This is going to be a fun time in basketball because, hey, if you remember, when he was took with pick 4 or 5, wherever he was, I believe it was 4. Everybody thought Jalen Suggs was going to go off on the board right there. Like everybody thought it was a consensus. But what the Toronto Raptors did is what every team should do. You draft best player available. You don't draft off of fit. People was really, mocking Jalen Suggs there because Kyle Lowry had just left, and they need a point guard. So why not get the nice point guard who could defend and plays kind of like Kyle Lowry? Nah, they went ahead and got the guy who plays very similar to Pascal Siakam, their best player, and created an absolute jam log at the forward position. But it came with a guy who they're going to start building this team around as a number one piece, and we're going to see how far that takes them. And they got a lot in return for Pascal Siakam, like a boatload of picks, and they didn't have to pay him. And like I said, they got a new guy who they're going to build around. Scotty Barnes is amazing. Great point forward who could do it all. He could shoot the ball well now. He has the Paul George level of ugly plays, though. Like Scotty Barnes, when I be watching him, he is the type nigga to hit the side of the backboard for real, man. But besides that, really good. He does look awky at times. I'm going to say that he does look awky at times, but he puts it all together eventually. Like I play basketball myself, and I'm just like Scotty Barnes. I'm very awkward, but it all works. It all works out for me. So like, who cares how it looks? Some people got $1 million moves and $0 finish. Scotty Barnes has like $0 moves with 100 on the finish, type shit. So Scotty Barnes, he cool, but like, his defense is amazing. His playmaking is good, very, very good. Great point forward who could who score pretty well and defend amazingly. And I think Scotty Barnes is one of those guys. He could fit on any team. He's going to be one of those guys in a couple years, and when we have Team USA come up again, he's going to be one of those guys that Team USA wants because he could shoot the ball, he could defend, and he's versatile. He's going to be one of those guys that they look at like Derek White, worst case scenario. Of course, he's better than Derek White, but you know what I mean when I'm Bam Adebayo, if you want some more respect. He's going to be looked at one of those Swiss Army knives that could just defend on the team and play his role as a playmaker. Emmanuel Quickly is somebody who I love the fit next to Scotty Barnes. It's the perfect fit. It's the like LeBron Kyrie fit, where you have a point forward next to a scoring guard who could also play make. Emmanuel Quickly, playmaking isn't his number one thing, but he's a point guard at the end of the day. He's a capable playmaker. Like Kyrie at the end of the day, he's a point guard. He can still play make. I understand he may not be your playmaking type of point guard, but next to Scotty Barnes, the playmaking of that team in general and as a whole is going to be great. So you're going to have two playmakers right there. And in the starting lineup, to me, why not just, put Grady Dick? He had a hot end of the season, and y'all were tanking last year. You're probably going to tank again, and just let Grady Dick cook because he is the ideal type of shooting guard next to a duo of Emmanuel Quickly and Scotty Barnes. He could be your J.R. Smith. He could be your Kyle Korver. Just let Grady Dick cook and see where it goes because Grady Dick is a great shooter, and yeah, he was slapping them things at the end of the season. So I would let Grady Dick cook, and RJ Barrett in the small forward. He is a piece that you got in the IQ trade. It was mainly for IQ, but RJ Barrett did not do bad on the team at all. He is kind of another all around player next to Scotty Barnes, who's an all around player. So like I do kind of like not love that. But just let RJ Barrett cook at least to begin the season, and somebody has to take the job from him. Jacoby, but somebody's gonna have to take that job for RJ Barrett to lose it. For now, RJ Barrett can be the starting small forward, and Jakob Poeltl, Raptors fans, he's been here before, and y'all already know what he is. And honestly, he's only gotten better. One of the best rim protectors in the NBA, underrated rim protector, a top 10 rim protector in the NBA. I could say that, a great screen setter. Jakob Poeltl is one of the most underrated bigs in the NBA, and he's going to be able to hold it down for the Toronto Raptors on the defensive end, hold it down in the middle, and he's going to have Scotty Barnes next to him and Emmanuel quickly causing havoc. Great defensive team. And their head coach that they got, I don't really know him like that, but I do remember him stealing plays from the New York Knicks, so he's gonna have to earn my respect. Toronto Raptors fans, let me know if y'all like that coach, because I have no idea about him, but he's gonna have to earn my respect. I seen him stealing plays from the Knicks. That's crazy. Um, on the bench, they have Bruce Brown, and all of these players that are rotational guys on this team. The thing I love about them is or actually every single one fit next to Scotty Barnes besides RJ Barrett. Every single person, their idea of them is a perfect fit next to Scotty Barnes. RJ Barrett, we're gonna see how him and Scotty works. I'm gonna love to see that. But Bruce Brown is a guy who's gonna defend and play make for next to Scotty, and that's just gonna work. You have Kelly Olynyk. He's a stretch big. He's gonna shoot, rebound, and defend next to Scotty. That's good. You got Davion Mitchell. He's gonna defend and shoot and play make a little bit. Shoot a little bit. Davion Mitchell, he's gonna fall out of this rotation. I wouldn't be too shocked, but I wouldn't be shocked neither if he like steps up and proves himself, because this is a team. If Davion Mitchell has anything left in him, he could prove it on this team. He has a point forward who's going to create advantages for him, and he got shooters next to him. If he's capable to play make enough to get these guys open, Davion Mitchell got no excuse, and this is his second team now, so NBA is kind of looking at him. He like, are you a real NBA player? Because night, you're a good defender, but you're like 6'2", so like, how valuable is the option of only being a perimeter defender? Like, you can't do anything else on defense. But we'll see what Davion Mitchell is capable of giving, because I do think he's a real good defender no matter what. So it just comes down to if he can knock down his 3-point shots. That's just what it comes down to. Chris Boucher is a nice rim protect. He gets, to me, when I watch games, he be going up getting some blocks sometimes, man. Like, I should probably go double check that, but Chris Boucher, he can go up and get some blocks, and he's not a bad shooter, I believe. Yeah. He shot 33% from the 3-point line, and amount of blocks he gets per game, I'm gonna see that right now. But to me, he gets blocks. Yeah, zero point 0.5 blocks in how many minutes? In 14 minutes. So half a block in 14 minutes. Yeah. He be getting blocks. Yeah, he be getting blocks. Yeah. 2 blocks a game when he played 24 minutes in 2020. Holy. Yeah. So Chris Boucher, yeah, he is jumpy. He gets blocks. I knew I was a trip when I said that. Even though it's only half a block, it's in 14 minutes. All right. So if he played 28 minutes a game, he'll be getting a block per game at bare minimum, maybe. But Chris Boucher is a solid defender who could shoot the ball a little bit. And Oshay Abaje on the Jazz, he was one of the most underrated players in my opinion. And the fact that they let him go is something that Raptors fans should look at, because Oshay Abaje could come on that team and provide instant impact. And he's a pretty young player, so it's going to be someone to watch out for. Bruno Fernando, he was just balling in the Olympics, I believe. Jacoby Walter is their rookie, who we're going to get into Jacoby Walter in a little bit, because he's going to be a guy who I like Jacoby Walter a lot, and we're going to see what I feel about him in a little bit. In the closing lineups, I honestly, all right, since only because we're on the topic of it already, I have a prediction that Jacoby Walter could take RJ Barrett's spot in the closing lineup. But Is it gonna happen? Or I have something, a desire, I guess. I shouldn't say a prediction, a desire. I want Jacoby Walter to do it. I think he fits better in that closing lineup. I think he makes more sense for the Toronto Raptors in the future if they just put Grady Dick at small forward and then Jacoby Walter at shooting guard. And that team will be tough. But for now, their closing lineup is going to be the same as their starting lineup. You know, you have IQ, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl. And then, yeah, that's how you close games. Their rotation is going to insist of Bruce Brown at point guard, IQ at point, Davion Mitchell at point. And then their shooting guard rotation is going to have Grady Dick, RJ Barrett again, because he could play shooting guard or the small forward, in my opinion. And then you're going to have Jacoby Walter and Bruce Brown again, who he could also play backup shooting guard. You're going to have RJ, Scotty, I like Scotty minutes at small forward because that's when you would have a big team with like Chris Boucher playing power forward next to Scotty Barnes with two shot blockers next to Scotty when Jakob Poeltl and Chris Boucher. That's cool. Or you can have Chris Boucher next to a stretch five and Kelly Olynyk and have Scotty and Boucher be the two primary defenders. You know, like this Toronto Raptors team, it fits perfectly next to Scotty. So we're gonna really see what Scotty's capable of. Like, I think that's the goal of the Raptors. They're just gonna tank and see what Scotty's ceiling, because the higher Scotty's ceiling is, the easier it's gonna be to rebuild. Because no matter what, Scotty Barnes is a championship piece. Is he the number one option? We don't know yet, but we're gonna build a team that could fit around him. And if he's a number one option, he's just gonna do some number one option shit and just take this team to the playoffs, you know. But if he's not a number one option, guess what? We're gonna have a high pick, and no matter what, Scotty Barnes is a top three player on the championship team. You know, so we'll be all right with it, and we have a championship piece player. Scotty Barnes is amazing, and I can't wait to see what the Toronto Raptors do with him, and I can't wait to see what Jacoby Walter provides for his team. Because I understand his percentages may have not been there, but he is one of the best shooters that I watched so far out of this draft class. I understand it says he shot like 33% from three, but he was taking Kyle Korver type of three pointers. I mean, he was a movement shooter. You know how Kyle Korver will come off the screens for LeBron. Hey, we've been talking about this Cavaliers team a lot where they had LeBron, Kyrie, and Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith in them. Those little sets where they will have where like Tristan Thompson or Kyrie set a screen for Kyle Korver, and Kyle Korver would come off of those screens and shoot the ball. Bro, Jacoby Walter did that a lot at Baylor. He did it a lot. Great movement shooter. In my opinion, his defense was pretty good. I know some people I was listening to said that they don't know about his defense, but he's pretty athletic and his defense is not bad at all. So I do think he'd be able to be a 6'4" shooting guard next to a team where Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl is on and be able to provide defense enough. I do think Jacoby Walter won't be a absolute negative on the defensive end. Like I said, off the ball, he's a crazy threat, and his three-point shot is amazing. One of the best shooters I saw in this draft class. And like I said, he reminds me of a JJ Redick, KCP. If he could put it all together, he could be an Anthony Edwards, because the degree of difficulty of shots that he was taking was like Kobe Bryant level. If he could just find a way to make these same difficult shots at a high degree, he's Kobe. He's Anthony Edwards. But I don't think he's going to keep taking that high difficulty level of shots. I think he's going to go on an NBA team and be a role player where there's guys creating advantages for him instead. And he's going to fall into your world of a Dion Waiters, of a KCP, Kyle Korver, Alec Burks, Grayson Allen, Dante DiVincenzo. I think Jacoby Walter is going to step in and be one of those great role players and a guy who could shoot the ball lights out and defend pretty well. If he could come out and just be Kobe Bryant, be Anthony Edwards, shout out to him, because those level of difficulty in his shots are crazy that he was making at Baylor. And when you watch a full game, it shows you like that's really what the offense just was. He really was the best option, you know. And shout out to Jacoby Walter, great shooter, and I can't wait to see what the Toronto Raptors do this next season because this is a team that it all fits, you know. Because looking back at it, y'all could see kind of why I would prefer Jacoby Walter in their closing lineup if he is what I say he is, you know. Because if you could have a starting lineup or a closing lineup of Emmanuel Quickly, you know, Kyle Korver, Grady Dick, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl. Come on, tell me you wouldn't want that instead of RJ Barrett. Like, would you prefer RJ Barrett or Kyle Korver in your closing lineup? You know, Kyle Korver is a dog on a dog on shooting. I was about to say a dog on defense and lie to y'all. Or would you want RJ Barrett or Grayson Allen? I'm not saying to build in the future, but I'm just saying to close games. You know, in the New York Knicks, a big problem for them and a big reason why they made the move for OG Anunoby is they traded two guys who weren't a part of their closing lineup. Emmanuel Quickly was another 6'2 guard that didn't fit next to Jalen Brunson, or he did fit, but it wasn't the best option. You know, if you could go and get a big wing for Emmanuel Quickly, who's a small guard next to Jalen Brunson, why not? Especially when RJ Barrett is another wing who's on your team and you don't close him. RJ Barrett was they were choosing Josh Hart over RJ Barrett. His game, like I said, he's an all-around player who doesn't really specialize in anything. In close games, I want a specialist. I have Scotty Barnes as my all-around guy who just excels at nothing. You know, like Karis LeVert is very much RJ Barrett to me. RJ Barrett is Karis LeVert to me. You know, this team is a team that they tanked last season and they got punished. Like the NBA, bro, I be peeping. Like they really do. The draft is the only thing I might say is, you know, kind of like, you know, predict it's not random. It's not totally random. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but the draft feels like it's not totally random and like the right narratives always happen. You know, hey, the Toronto Raptors, y'all want to tank, huh? Y'all want to tank, right? And we told you on that too. Here's pick 8. Y'all needed the top 7 pick. Ha. Here's 8. Let's tease y'all. You know, hey, the Atlanta Hawks, we want teams to be competitive and make the play in. So here you go. Here's pick 1. Like that's how it feels sometimes. But you know, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping with the draft is the only time I feel like that with the NBA. Everything else I feel is pretty legit or is legit. But the draft sometimes, I don't know, man. And if you seen Patrick Ewing, you seen Patrick Ewing's draft. Because yeah, the NBA be pushing agendas sometimes or all the time. But either way, Jacoby Walter is going to be a great guy for this Raptors team. And if they could have a guy who could just come in and shoot the ball next to Scotty Barnes, that's lit. That's lit. If you could just have JJ Redick next to Scotty Barnes as a Raptors fan, I'm pretty sure y'all would like that. And as a Scotty Barnes fan, I would love that because I want to see Scotty Barnes succeed. And I think Jacoby Walter is the type of person that he can succeed next to. So shout out to you if you're listening to this episode still, and we're almost at 20 minutes. And we talked about the Toronto Raptors, what I think about them, and yeah, that'll wrap it up for today's video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm currently at 177 subscribers right now, so it'd be very much appreciated if you could like, comment, subscribe. Everybody have a nice day, and God bless.